160, 165, 170, 180 even. This is getting onto downhill bike level, no? When I first started mountain biking, my first proper full suspension mountain bike was a Norco Sight. It had 140mm travel on it, and it was a great bike. As an enduro bike, that was the standard, and it was so good. I used to ride it everywhere, and it would just handle everything that I wanted it to. So going through some brands of bikes that seem to be really popular, and let's have a look at what travel they've got. An enduro bike that was always winning competitions was the Nukeproof Mega. It's had a lot of success in the EWS. Looking at that bike now, it's 165 rear travel and then about 100, 175 on the front. So again, you can just see from the Norco Sight, when that I had, that was 140mm, the enduro range has just sort of changed so much. Canyon Torque, 170mm worth of travel. YT Capra, like Dad now has, 170mm of travel. Another big common bike, see these a lot on Surrey Hills, Santa Cruz Nomad. Again, enduro bike, 170mm worth of travel. I think there's only one brand that I've always felt haven't done as big travel bikes, and that is Yeti. But having a look on their website now, even Yeti have a 165mm travel bike, which again on the front will end up having 170mm. So again, it's all in that same range. So why do I ride 170mm travel enduro bike? Let's say I started on a 140mm bike and then I jumped all the way up to 170. Now the reason I did that is I always wanted a big downhill bike, and I love the look of it, and I know it got good reviews, so I decided that was the bike I was going to get. It was a big bike. I was pumping up the forks, and it felt like the forks was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I sat on it and I felt really slumped back, and I thought it felt amazing. But I did think, how am I going to ride all the round on this and climb some steep hills? So I took it out for a ride, and it was tough, but I'll be honest, it really shocked me. I was riding up hills, and yeah, it definitely was harder being bigger bike, heavier, and more towards the back of the bike, in a slacker position. But I could still climb, and I was getting up hills relatively comfortably.
It shifts so quickly, by the way.
Yeah.
Instant.
But yet, I then hit the downhills, and I had an incredible bike that just could attack everything.
Oh, it's juicy, this bike, isn't it?
Oh.
It could definitely take more hits. It just seems to accelerate.
Yeah, it's all getting a bit crazy here.
Whoa!
Oh.
Okay. Look at that. We're climbing.
Climb.
Or talking.
We can climb. Talk at the top.
So why would I not go for just a big chunky downhill bike? The answer is, I've always wanted one. That's without a shadow of a doubt. I'd love to have one at some point. But in reality, you can't climb on them. And when you're doing most weekends riding places like we do, Surrey and Wales and everything like that, you need a bike that's going to get you up the hills too. The 170mm travel is a really good middle ground. It's got the kind of capabilities of a downhill bike, but can still climb like a normal enduro mountain bike.
Climbing back to the top. Steep old climb this.
It is.
The bikes can do it.
Got to do it.
Not a problem. Just done this awesome trail here, Twin Towers. We absolutely love this one. It's a really nice, fast downhill trail with some really good bits. Was absolutely loving it with some crazy noise as well going down. But yeah, to get back up, really steep hill. And Dad's now on a 170mm bike just like I am. And as you can see now, we're back at the top and it's not hard to climb. It's so fun on the downhill. but you can climb up perfectly fine. We did it all in one go, which we don't often do. And yeah, absolutely fine, back at the top.
Now this is something that Dad's actually experiencing recently. He for ages was looking for a new bike because he had his bird bike for quite a long time, I think about 5 years in the end. And there's 145mm travel on the rear, 150 on the front. And he was trying to decide what to go for. Do you stick around the 150 or do you follow some other people with a 170? Now I said to him about my Canyon, like I was climbing on it and I just felt that the more I rode it, the more I just got so used to it that going uphill didn't seem a problem at all. So he went down to YT and demoed a few different ones, and the Capra was just always a bike he fell in love with. You would just expect it to be pretty tough, but it just climbs really well. Just having a look now on the Canyon website, and it's really interesting because if you go under enduro bikes, as you expect, you'd find the Canyon Torque. But then you go over to downhill bikes and the Canyon Torque's there as well. Now the reason is that you can set up the Canyon Torque as like a free ride bike. So you put on some big chunky downhill forks, like 180mm, and then maybe chuck a coil on the back, and then you built yourself up this really nice playful free ride bike, great for hitting bike parks, great for downhill, just an awesome bike.
Right, let's see what's going on with this one.
Some nice routes as well. Why don't we do this trail more? This is looking cool.
Try to, try it. Well,
This is so routine. Taking the inside.
why don't we do this one more?
I know. This is so good.
Oh, it's a track stand.
This is a bit tight.
Where am I going? Oh, this is different.
Why? What a trail.
So the answer is, enduro bikes are really, really cool. They're just being developed more and more all the time, and the frame design and geometry are always being thought about, and they're just basically becoming a bike that you can just use wherever you want, for any trails, and it's always just going to be a bike that's going to be amazing. And with prices of bikes being pretty crazy these days, it's what you want, a bike that's just going to be able to do it all.
Looks bigger. Am I going the right one?
Possibly,
No.
yeah. Some crazy one of some sort.
Oh! Trusted the bike.
Oh, it's getting a bit close to you then.
Where am I going now? Am I going around here?
Oh yeah, left is... Oh I know, yeah, this is the one that's got that quite steep rollout.
There's an out here somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh. No, there's a... Well, there
Well,
was.
that's got a bit like... That's a bit like tight, isn't it?
Oh, man.
Going into it's all sort of like so slippy and loose and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so tight. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. I think I'll leave it.
Well done.
Good
It's
little-
so funny how it shifts.
It always gets a bit crazy around here. Whoa.
I've definitely taken the harder line.
Yeah, I thought the line I did is actually pretty good. And a bit wide view. Yeah, I just love the flow down here, like pumping it. Big rock in the way, that's why.
Well, it's a watering. That looks a bit thin.
It does. When we used to ride places like Swindley Forest, you wouldn't dream of having like a 170mm bike, but now like it is definitely worth having that big travel bike.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, 170 bike, if I can climb, why not have the fun of a 170 bike?
Yeah, have the extra travel.
I can do Swindley, I can do Surrey Hills, I can do bike parks,
Yeah.
and I can take it to Whistler.
So let me know down below what your thoughts are on this topic. And also, do you think the bikes will ever grow more in travel? Will we see 180 and 190mm enduro bikes? Or are we at a point now where we're just going to stay where we are? But as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another ride.